Hello, everyone. This is Ruby Bhandari with Design Your Life. We are back and we are ready to talk about very, very important things that are happening in our lifetime for the first time. Of course, all of you know that we have been talking about mental health, how important mental health is. And we did have an amazing session last week with Ashraf and Dr. Sejal Mehta and Monica Sharma regarding mental health. So, today I thought while we talk about mental health, I should dress up. So I worn a silk thread caftan and I'm wearing jewelry by Mona Jane, which I just thought looked perfect together. And I'm just wearing it with my pants and I'm here at the office. And, looking good makes you feel good. So I thought I would dress up for you guys today. And I have an amazing guest, the most amazing guest. Her name is Priya Thahim. She is someone that I've known for many, many years, and she's extremely talented. I'm going to read out what I know about her because I had to write it down. Hold on. So she is a mental health professional who specializes in couples and marriage, counseling, child and adolescent counseling, anxiety, depression, and self-harm. She's now living in DC. She's been in the mental health field for 9 years and currently practicing. She has her very own practice. She was raised in Dallas. That's how I know her. One of the most amazing families. And now she lives in DC with her husband and she's doing all her work on Zoom. So I thought it was a great opportunity to have her here. And of course, she'll always be a Southern girl. It's okay if she lives near Trump. We'll forgive her. So introducing Priya Thahim.
Hi guys. How are you?
Great. So I see, are we in your new office?
In my living room, yeah.
My office is still at Silk Threads, thank God. At least I can come here and actually work with people. And of course, we're doing one at a time with the masks. It's by appointment only. For you, you can just do your appointments on the internet, right? On Zoom.
Yeah, we've had to shift from in person to online because our area is still on lockdown. So we're not even allowed to leave to go place unless it's a essential
okay,
outing.
So you guys still have not. Okay, so our governor has opened it up for us. Mm-hmm. So I know that it's been a good 6 weeks and we are all dealing with so many issues, kids, families, in-laws. I mean, we're living with everyone under one roof. I know that, it really helped me to read some of the things that you had written, just to make encourage myself to be, because, as a woman, you have to be the strongest and you got to be the mountain and you got to hold the whole family together. Right. So, I know that people are still now in Dallas. We're trying to get back to normal life, sort of. I really would can we just jump right in? Because I know we've got viewers on and they want to hear, what this marriage counselor / family adolescent counselor has to say. So, and I know later on, I'm going to tell you right now that my favorite subject and a lot of favorite subject is the intimacy part. I want to know, after we talk about kids and myself and everyone else, I want to know about intimacy. And I will ask you my question later because it's really personal. All right. So here we go. Managing anxiety during quarantine. Now, this is something that we've already been through. But, just for those who did not watch last time when we did this last week, if you can give us a rundown, Priya, really quick on what you advise.
Yeah, definitely. I think you hit on some good points. Being in a South Asian family or even being a South Asian background, we don't really talk about mental health. And so, like you said last week, you guys did touch on some of this stuff, but there's definitely some ways to kind of manage the stress that you're feeling, or even just the sense of being overwhelmed with everything and everyone being at home. So we have teletherapy options, which is like you could connect with a therapist or a provider online from the comfort of your own home, bedroom, living room, whatever it is. And that just kind of helps you become a sounding board to get your thoughts and feelings in a safe space. Following a routine is a great example of how to kind of be in control of your day. I know for me, if I don't follow a routine, I tend to feel really flustered, unproductive, unmotivated. And so when I start to feel those things, we have these exercises called grounding exercises. I don't know if you guys have heard of them before, but grounding
exercises. No, I've never heard of a grounding exercise before.
Yeah, so grounding exercises are like meditation in a way, but it's not just when we think of trying to relax, we think of yoga, meditation, deep breathing. Those are great examples of grounding exercises, but they don't work for everybody. So, other examples that you could try to do is just simply naming things in a room helps distract your mind from what's actually going on in your head.
So when you say things in a room, say for example, I'm in my bedroom, I'm going to say bed, pillows, sheets, my box of socks, my charger, like that.
Yeah, just things like that. And if you wanted to add some more ways to distract your mind, you get up and go and touch those items. And what that does, it basically tricks our brain into thinking about something else. So you're able to kind of go back with a clearer mindset.
Oh, that's cool.
And my favorite one actually is holding ice, because you can physically feel the cold, and then you'll be amazed at how fast your mind can shift from a negative thought into like, oh my gosh, this is really cold, and then you feel better.
That is cool. So take ice.
Yeah, just hold a piece of ice. You can suck on it. You can throw it on the floor. It's a totally safe way to get out anger, and it's an easy cleanup.
Okay, I see lots of people online. I see Sukhvinder, I see Vanita, I see Meenakshi, I see Sonali, I see Rima, and I see Ronnie. Okay, you guys, I know you guys are all parents, and I know that you guys probably feel this, so I think that's really cool. Take some ice and just hold on to that ice. All right, when I'm frustrated with my boys next time, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, even try throwing it on the ground. It's a great stress relief. And then another important tip I wanted to mention is setting small daily goals is a great way to hold yourself accountable, even if it's something small like I'm going to eat one healthy meal a day, or I'm going to go for a 30-minute walk today. And once you check off one thing off that list, you'll feel more accomplished and more motivated to continue with doing things that are productive.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I try to make a list of things to do each day, and I literally write, go for a walk or wash my hair.
Yeah, no, sometimes it helps just having these small daily tasks written down. You feel productive once you check it off.
Okay, so I see a question from Ronnie in California. I know salons are shut down and you want to know how I do my hair. I will do, for all of you guys who are watching, if you guys are interested, there is a link on the top of this page, and it says for more details. I can send you the diet that we did the other day. I can send you all the information that we're talking about on mental health today. And if you write specifically, you want to know, you want some tips on doing your hair, I can actually do a video and a tutorial on what to do with your hair. I actually cut my own hair, like the front of it, while we were now quarantined, and our hairdressers are not open yet, but I couldn't handle it. So just to answer your question, if you guys click on the link above, any and all the information that you need, I will go ahead and email it to you, even if it's a video or a tutorial of how to do your hair. We also did eye makeup, which Vanita, I know you're on, and I don't know if you can see or not, but I did my eyes, just the day makeup, which you taught us the other day, and I love it. I've been doing it every day. I just want you to know. All right, Priya. So are we still on this page of managing anxiety?
Yeah, so the last thing I wanted to touch on is reaching out for just to say hi to a loved one or a friend is also a great way to kind of manage your anxiety. I know for me, I'm stuck in a house with my husband all day long, so I look for other types of interaction.
Yes, I totally agree. So it's all of the Zoom groups and the house parties. That works like magic.
It does.
Magic. Okay, I'm going to turn off this screen so you guys can see us again. All right, we're going to go on to our next subject. So we're still on ourselves before we get to our kids and we get to the intimacy with our significant other. All right, the next thing, challenging negative thoughts. So let's talk about that, Priya.
So challenging negative thoughts definitely is a big one for us in the South Asian community. I feel like when we were younger, we were conditioned to always do better or go a little further, and that ingrains us with thinking that we're not good enough, or that maybe there's a lot of improvement that we haven't hit yet. And so I don't know about you, but for me, if I feel like I didn't do well in a task, I'm like, oh, like I suck or I'm not good enough. And so instead of letting that negative thought continue down a spiraling like road, you can reframe the thought of, maybe I didn't do well this time, but I can try X, Y, and Z next. So there are 5 steps that you can see in your screen. They, number 1 is reframing your negative thought into a constructive one. And that just means simply, instead of saying I can't, say I can't, but I will try this. So replace it with a solution rather than just continuing on that negative spiral.
Yeah, I think the solution is really important, and it's kind of hard to do. You know, when you're angry, you're just totally pissed off. You're just done, and you know things when they don't go your way, which is very often. It's hard to say, hey, but next time let's try this. So very, very important. And you guys, all of these slides plus more detailed information, all of these slides plus more detailed information will be emailed to you if you click on the link above and you ask for the information. You just have to fill in your email address and what you're wanting, and I will email it to you. Okay, what's next?
So just like turning the I can't into a solution, turning your I should have and I should into an I will statement. So I know I always struggle with, eating healthy 7 days a week. Like I should have just eaten that salad today, but instead, like I'll eat a salad for lunch the next day. Or it can go with anything, working out. Like I should have just worked out, but all that does is bring you down. And so you want to find a way to motivate yourself, because if you can't motivate yourself, you really won't be receptive to other people bringing you up.
Yeah, I think the trick here is to move forward. Don't worry about what you did yesterday or what you did this morning. If it wasn't the right thing or it wasn't the best thing, hey, there's always tomorrow morning.
I mean, absolutely.
Yep, that's the best thing about life, is there's always tomorrow morning. So then just do it tomorrow morning. No big deal, right?
Yeah, and like if you fail at something, you get up and try it again. I think that's the biggest thing, is getting up and trying again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so what else do we have on this?
So number 4 is just simply pausing and taking a step back and reflecting on, what could you have done differently, or if you just find that you really are done with whatever task you're trying, try to do something else that you can find that's productive. So, if you're sitting at the computer working all day long and you find that you're not getting your assigned work done, like go and do something else. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. And I think we often tell ourselves, no, we have to finish everything before dinner, or we have to finish everything before tomorrow. But I mean, there's always tomorrow, like you said.
I swear, there's always tomorrow. So I mean, you just do the same thing tomorrow. Just move forward. When we think back, I should have done this and I should have done that. I just took this personality test, and one of the questions was, do you always reflect on what you should have done, like, or what you didn't do in the past, or do you move forward? And I do. I mean, to a certain extent, I think all of us do. We try to move backwards, and we should have done this. So I think the only good thing is we should have. So just do it tomorrow now. Generally, it's not too late.
It's never too late, actually. Like,
yeah,
in any situation, there's always something positive that you can take from it. Absolutely. And even if it's something small, you just have to look for that small light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. Okay. And then what do we have for number 5?
Challenging your thought, which is actually just asking yourself to prove yourself wrong. So you can ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it a fact? And can you prove it? And what that does is, those are 3 very similar questions, but it gets your mind thinking in different ways. And sometimes it takes us 2 different ways to ask a question in order for somebody to understand it. So just like that, we have to ask ourselves questions for ourselves to understand it.
Okay. Well, I know that uncertainty, I don't know what's true and what's not true anymore, and I don't know how to deal with it. I stopped watching the news. So, I mean, do you have any advice on how to deal with the uncertainty of today and how to be positive about it?
Yeah, definitely. I think given that we're in this pandemic and nobody really knows what's going on, every day the news is changing, I would just say limit your news exposure and limit your COVID-19 talk. it is really important to know the facts, but you have to be careful where you're getting your information from. So what me and my husband have been doing is we've set aside maybe 5 to 10 minutes of news talk or uncertainty talk. And then the rest of the time, we try not to bring it up because that just helps us continue to be productive in other areas and focus on things that we can control.
Well, you know what's happening is we're getting onto these parties, on these Zoom parties, Zoom or our house parties. And, we're like 6 or 8 girls. And you know what we start doing? We start talking about COVID and what's on the news. Did you know? Did you know? And we're all just, whatever we hear in the news, we think they're facts. And we're just talking about, I think we're just scaring each other.
So it's uncertainty, right?
Yep. For those of you who just got on, we have Priya Kaur.
Hi, guys.
Yep. She is a counselor in marriage and children, adolescents. And she is talking to us about how to get rid of COVID as much as possible out of our, at least 23 hours of our life. So now we are going to talk about kids.
This is one of my favorite topics to talk about because I feel like we always want to spend more time with our kids, but now that we're given the opportunity, nobody knows what to do with it. I don't know if you feel that way.
Well, okay, let me tell you. I got to tell you guys a story about me, Eshraj, Yuvraj, and Raj in our house. Our first thought was to try to make our kids get up in the morning. So Eshraj runs track, and he wakes up early in the morning. So we were thinking about making him wake up in the morning, giving him a schedule, trying to get him onto these Zoom classes. We were trying to make him be on like the same school schedule. That just didn't work. And we had World War III in our house every single night between father and son. We have like such a happy family. And you guys, the Bhandari family was not a happy family. We were like so cranky because Raj and I were hell bent on getting our kids to have a schedule because they're going to go back to school soon. We didn't know how long this was going to last. So tell me, I see, Amaya, I see your question, and we're going to get to it in just a second. Tell me what is right, because we don't want to mentally mess up our children. What is the right thing to do as far as a schedule with our kids? Because our kids are not going to go to school for the next 4 months. They are going to be having online classes just for a few more days. And then, of course, we're going to have one of our children, the older one, the 18-year-old, is going to go to summer school. And then the younger one, hopefully there's some sort of virtual camps or some computer camps or something that our child can go to during the summer. But we don't know really how to deal with our children for the next 4 months.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point as you try to enforce a schedule, but it wasn't really working for you. And I think every family is very different. So when we got this distance learning memo, nobody was prepared for it, not even the teachers and not even the students. And so we can't really expect a 6-hour day to be implemented at home because there's so many more distractions at home. You're in the comfort of your own home. And I don't know, like for me, I really try to keep home life and work life very different so I'm able to relax in my zone. And what you're finding with kids these days is a lot more kids are becoming more expressive with their mental emotions. And so when they're already feeling anxious about schoolwork and then you're bringing it into their own environment, that just creates more chaos and more tension.
Oh, yes.
And not only that, when you're at school, the kids are getting interactions with their friends, with their teachers. They're walking around. They got recess. They got lunch. So they're really not spending 6 hours a day learning. And what I've seen the most is schools their expectations of these kids. It's out of the limits. I think it's adding more anxiety than it is anything else because parents are trying to navigate their work as well as teaching their kids. So I would say that a schedule would be based on your family lifestyle, but also if you find that your kid is struggling, take a step back. Tell them to do something else that's productive, like learning a new life skill or, just spending time with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Spending time with me. That's limited. Now let's go back to our chart because you have so many things on this chart. And everyone who has just joined, we have Priya Thahim here. She's an amazing family and couples counselor. She deals with children, with marriages, and she has made these amazing charts, which we will send to you along with some more details by email. If you click on the top of this page, there's a link where you can put in your email address and you can request for all of these sheets, because I think I love this list that you've made of all these different things that you can do with your children.
Thank you. So yeah, this list can basically be used while they're in school and also in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we always talk about kids and electronics, and so it's like a double-edged sword. You don't want them online all day long, but you also don't want them to feel disconnected from their peers.
Do you have a number of hours that's healthy for them to be online, looking at TikToks, making TikToks, on Instagram?
So I don't know the official hours. Just my own personal recommendation. I would just try to encourage them to. You can actually look at their usages, but if you find that they're spending a majority of their day on their phone and they haven't done anything else, then maybe you can try to point them in another direction. But I also think, this is where I want to remind parents that kids are also experiencing this pandemic right now, and being away from their friends it's a huge deal for them. And so if the only way to stay connected is via FaceTime, Zoom, and video games, then it might not be as harmful as it would have been before.
Okay, so it's not that harmful that if my child is on there for 4 hours.
Not if he's doing some other things. I mean, have you ever sat down and watched TV for a couple hours? Watching a Hindi movie is 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same concept, except they're probably talking to 100 different people at one time.
They are, because they're playing games at the same time and they're all on. So, all right, you guys, that's interesting to know that if my child is on and talking to his friends and playing games for 4 hours in a day, it's not that bad. All right, that's great to know, because my kids are on an average of 4 hours. We try to get them to read. Getting them to go biking or whatever, or go for a walk. It's so lonely for them. I mean, who wants to walk with their parents? It's so hard. And they're just dying to get back to their friends. So,
and I think as the social distancing, like the limitations kind of get lifted, you as parents can come up with your own rules. I've had families that will have a child like friends over, but they have to remain 6 feet apart. So they still get that interaction, but they're also practicing social distancing.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I guess it's physical. We always say social distancing. And what I read somewhere, it's physical distancing, not social distancing. Social closeness and physical distancing. So no kissing, hugging, or sitting next to each other. I guess we should be happy that they can play games together on 2 different phones. That's a blessing. Okay, so all right, you guys, let's go to intimacy. This is something which also I personally am feeling. I personally don't have any issues with my husband. But what I've realized is that during this time, I am more like we become partners. It's like, we're just trying to control our kids, get the food on the table, clean up. There's so many things we have to do ourselves now. My husband became a handyman because we had a leak and he didn't want to call the plumber in. So, he was running to Home Depot trying to get stuff. And, we've just become like work partners almost, work at home partners. So now it's like things really haven't changed, but we're together so much because Raj travels once or twice a week. I travel to India 4, 5, 6 times a year. So, we were always in the habit we almost felt like we were dating. Now we're like living together. So I know everyone's life is not like that. There are a lot of people who have their husbands that travel, or their husbands work really long hours. And so they don't see their spouse or their significant other as much as they do now. But, what kind of advice do you have for us as far as, we have 4 different things on here. Let's talk about emotional intimacy first.
Yeah, so I think with emotional intimacy, when we think about intimacy, we just normally think about sex. But intimacy is broken down into these 4 levels, and emotional intimacy is just kind of acknowledging each other and affirming how, if you're proud of your partner, if they've done something nice for you, and being supportive. I think some of these things we don't often hear. We don't think about how much it would mean to somebody saying like, well, you really did that well, or I'm really thankful that you're here. And that just kind of builds up this feeling of being loved and cared for, which fuels into your intimacy tank.
Yeah, I guess I never do that with Raj. I should definitely do that. Okay, and then there is the mental intimacy.
So yes, mental intimacy is those really deep, meaningful conversations. And these are things that you don't have to do on a daily basis, but if you do them a couple times a week, they add up. And by the end of the week, you're going to want to become more intimate with your partner or even just feel more connected. I think intimacy is mistaken just for like physical touch, but it's much more than that. It's about really being in tune with your partner. And sharing interests, like even if it's playing a game or listening to music, singing to each other, those are all great ways to kind of build that mental intimacy up. And then in turn, the physical intimacy comes out of that, which is what you've heard: hugging, kissing, massages, foreplay. There's an interesting thing I wanted to mention about hugging. How often do you and Raj hug?
I don't know. How often do we, these days we're hardly hugging. I mean, I guess if I'm really yeah, he hugs me in the morning when I get up. I mean, that's nice, right? He comes and he hugs me and he kisses me on my forehead to wish me good morning.
Yeah, I mean, we don't think about hugging. It just kind of like happens, right? But there's an actual scientific benefit of hugging. If you hug 20 seconds, 8, and 12 times a day, you will be releasing a hormone called oxytocin, which is basically your stress hormone. And what it does is it just basically reduces your anxiety, reduces your stress, and you feel more connected. And they say 4 hugs a day helps you survive, 8 hugs a day maintains your relationship, and 12 hugs a day is for growth.
Wow. Okay, you guys, are you listening to this? So you're supposed to hug your significant other for 20 seconds. So you're washing your hands for 20 seconds. You can definitely hold on to your significant other for 20 seconds. And you're saying minimum is 4 times a day?
Yeah, minimum is 4 times a day. And that's just, I mean, think about your kids. How often do you hug your kids?
Oh, you hug your kids all the time, actually, as much as they let you.
As much as they let you, right? And so remember, before the kids came, it was just you and your partner. And
Yes.
so you want to get back to if you're in a family, you want to get back to that relationship that you once had, and you can continue to make it grow even with your kids.
Okay, so we have a couple of new viewers. I want to say this again. So you're supposed to hug your significant other a minimum of 4 times a day. And that too for 20 seconds minimum each time. So when you hug them for 4 times, what is that? And 8 times, what is that?
So 4 hugs a day is for survival, 8 hugs a day is for maintenance, and 12 hugs a day is for growth.
Did you guys get that? I'll email you guys all of this. But that's amazing. So try, and I guess you have to kind of physically make yourself do it consciously, and then it'll become a habit. Hug your partner 4 times a day for survival, 8 times a day for maintenance, and 12 times a day for
growth.
So if you want to grow with your significant other, try to hug him 12 times a day for 20 seconds, just like you wash your hands for 20 seconds, a minimum of 20 seconds. I love that. Okay, can we go to the physical intimacy with your spouse or your significant other? Because I don't even remember what that is. They're talking about how people are either going to get divorced or they're going to have babies, right?
Yeah. It's one or the other, right?
Divorced from my super partner. I feel like a superhero with him. But I'm definitely not having babies. Not because I'm old, but because I don't know, I'm too tired and too I'm mentally just exhausted by the time it comes nighttime.
Yeah, no, I can understand. I'm at the age where everyone's like, when are you having a baby? And I'm all like, I'm just trying to survive. But I think with physical intimacy, we often try to hype up to this idea of a romantic, intimate evening with our partner. But in reality, in day-to-day life, it's not always as smooth as we want it to be. And so if we can hit on everything else, becoming physical with your partner will get that much more like easier. And there's little things that you can do, like giving each other massages, rubbing each other's backs, holding each other's hands. Like those are great ways to kind of build up that intimate connection so that when you do feel like, taking it to the next level or getting back into the bedroom, it doesn't seem as like daunting or like, oh, we just have to do this once in a while.
Well, no, I think massaging or at least holding hands or getting close or sitting close to each other is definitely a good idea. And we've just like, I don't know, we've become kind of numb to all of that. And I never thought that I would become numb to that. I just didn't realize how much work quarantining is. So definitely I'll try a few of these things just to see how they work. And I have a feeling that they're going to be shocked when you guys try this on your significant others. I think it's going to be something very new. Now, listen, we have a question that I just really, really need to get to. How about those extroverts who are getting depressed due to forced lockdown? What can we do to cheer up? So I'm a prime example, and I know that the person who asked this question is also a very good example. We are people that are always out on the go and in different environments all the time. What do you advise for people? Now, I have not gotten depressed, but I'm sure there are people who don't know how to stay home and they don't know how to keep themselves busy. So what do you advise for them?
It's funny because I'm actually like this too. And I would say that you have to find passion projects. We always ask for more time. We always ask for vacations. And now that we're kind of given this odd amount of time, we don't use it. And we tend to dwell on things like what we can't have and where we can't go. And so, finding a passion project, finding a new hobby is a great way to kind of get your mind going again, and staying connected via, Zoom calls, texting, FaceTime. Those are all good ways to keep socially connected. And if you find that being at home is a struggle for you, going for walks is not canceled. Going to the grocery store to get, even if it's not as a long of an outing, like you can still go and get groceries. So, and taking a drive, like you don't have to physically staying inside all day long. And I think that's what we forget is we hear like these things on the news saying, don't leave your house. That's just flatten the curve, which is very important. But there are other things that we can do that are also socially distant.
Yeah, I think now you guys are still on lockdown, but I know that I am ready to meet my friends. So for those of you who are on and watching, I am ready to meet my friends, 2 or 3 at a time, 4 at a time, as long as that we just keep a physical distance. Socially, I want to see you in real life. And we are lucky enough in Dallas that we can see each other. So I think it's time for everyone to start making, women and men, couples even, need to start making dates with their friends just to meet each other and see each other from, be 6-10 feet away from each other. Be very careful, make sure you're clean, make sure you're masked, but at least see each other, have a drink together for real. That's very, very important. So, and for the person that asked this question, I have a really great idea for you, and I will call you afterwards. So now let's get to, I know that you are actually taking Zoom calls, and if somebody is watching this and they're comfortable, can you tell us first, Priya, how somebody could have an appointment with you?
So with me, I would just say you'd have to reach out only because I'm practicing in DC, but I'll definitely help figure out a way for you to get connected with somebody.
Okay, so I have a screen up now with different information on how to look up therapists, and I can't read this. It's a little bit small, the writing. So Priya, I'm going to rely on you to read what's out here. What all does this say?
Yeah, so I think with finding a therapist, there's a couple things to keep in mind. A big one is cost. If you are using your insurance, you would want to call your insurance company to figure out who's a network for you. I'm personally an out-of-network provider, so it's a little bit easier to navigate finding those those types of therapists, but you have to factor in cost. And that's just to help with the financial piece of it. So you don't want therapy to be a financial burden on you, but you also want to keep in mind sometimes different levels of expertise do cost more. And what I mean by that is if you're looking for couples counseling, if you're looking for marriage counseling, those tend to be a little bit more like pricier because they're not covered by insurance. But if you're looking for something standard as individual therapy, then you should be able to find one with or without your insurance provider. And there's some sites that you can go to. One is Psychology Today. It's just like Google for therapy. You type in your zip code and you'll be able to pull up a list of therapists in your area and you can read their bios. It's really great. It's a great resource to have, and it also gives you the option to filter out like cost, filter out areas, filter out insurance companies. Good Therapy is another search engine. And like I said, word of mouth is a great way of finding a therapist. Because I don't know about you, Ruby, I don't trust everybody I meet with my personal information. So
yeah, no, it's good to get a reference. And now more and more we are encouraging, especially South Asians, to go and get counseling and go and get help, because you know what? We live in America and we have this liberty, and we have, such great access to all of this. And now, we're encouraging people from India, Pakistan, all over South Asia, everywhere, that this is the right thing to do. And so I know that they're doing it in other countries too. And we're number one. We're so lucky that we have these options. So, Priya, tell me, you have some sort of an Instagram page. Priya,
I do.
It's
so
core.
It's Core Counseling. So that's my therapy page.
Yes. I like that. So what do you put on that page?
So it's honestly just kind of things that we've been talking about, advice, little daily quotes. I'm one of those people that like to look at Pinterest and Instagram for like motivation. So I just wanted to kind of give back and give a voice to those who may be on the fence about approaching therapy, or even just needed a moment to reflect.
Okay, well, I like that. I always like inspirational pages. So for those of you that are watching, it's at KAUR Core Counseling. I think that's a cool name too. So now if you guys have any more questions, I would like to get down to any questions. Is there anybody that has any questions? Everyone said lovely topic. Hi, you guys. I know who's on here. I'm loving that you guys are on here. If you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask. And of course, click on the link above and just put your email address. I'll send you all of these pages, as well as more details on the intimacy part with your spouse. And that way you guys can, it's just a reminder. And then there's that great list of things to do with your children. I'll go ahead and send you that list. I think that's just a great reminder when you're just don't know what to do. At least there's a list in front of you and there's more things to try, because you can't possibly remember everything from this live. Yes. So if you have it on your email, all the different charts, it'll be on the tip of your fingers. And for those of you that have been joining on and off, I just want to tell you that I love this Mona Jane jewelry that I'm wearing. I just pulled it out of my case. I have beautiful jewelry here from Mona Jane. Thank you, Mona. And I know you're watching, so I hope you're excited that I'm wearing this. So you guys, we will see you again Monday at 4:00 with our next topic, which I have no idea what it is yet. I have no idea what our next topic is, because I have a bunch of topics coming up. I'm thinking this may be a bridal topic. So we will keep you guys informed. Thank you for being on. Thank you so much, Priya, for all of your
Thank you for having me.
And when we email you guys, we'll email you the information for Priya as well. So if you need to contact her, I'm sure she would love to help you. All right, you guys, we are concluding this session. Thank you, Priya. I'm going to say bye.
Bye.
Yes, and I am back on here by myself. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please click on the link. I want some feedback. And we will see you again Monday here live at 5:00. All right, you guys, bye. Take care.